on this week's upgrade. Last week's blatant bribe was so successful, we're doing it again. Stand by for this week's secret code word. And from sea to shining sea, the world of charging just turned upside down. No one told you, so we've got the skinny. And welcome to the upgrade. I'm Seymour Signet. As always, I'm here with Kate. Hi, Kate.
Hi, everyone.
So it's the upgrade from MAGFAST. Thank you so much for the feedback we've been getting. It's clear you really love what we're doing with this show. If it's your first time, the upgrade is our new weekly update where we talk about what we're doing here. The reason we called it upgrade is because it's a core theme of the whole of MAGFAST. MAGFAST is all about how can we make things better with our internal processes, the way we run the company. We're just trying to do things a little better than the others. When COVID hit and everybody had to work from home, we already had most of those systems in place. And so we were able to continue without missing a beat. We consider ourselves very fortunate. We actually helped some other people understand how to do that, which was great. And to give you more insights into the way the products are coming along and we're developing. Slightly different topic each week. Some weeks we talk about the business more. Some weeks we talk about design a bit more. This week I'm going to talk about something that's an important business strategy that also feeds through the design of every single product. Usbc, we'll talk about it in just a second. Before we do, Kate, you've got a list of things that we should cover before we get started, right?
Yes, I have a couple things. Number one, we launched our magfast.com/status page, which is
yes, we did.
Very transparent, open, honest, as much as possible about shipping, our shipping schedule, and
yes,
about each product.
Yeah, that's the first place to go. If you have any questions about what's going on with the products, how far along the line are they, you'll see 3 of them are cascading now into the kind of final checks and balances before tooling soon, we hope. The other 3 are a little bit behind, but you can always get the latest at magfast.com/status.
Okay, and the next thing is make sure you put September the 10th at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, yes. Yes.
In your
1 p.m.
calendar.
Pacific in your calendar.
It's it'll be very exciting if you love entertainment, if you love MAGFAST, if you love the Netflix, as Seymour says. Just make sure you're there. It'll be super exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be really amazing. I know a lot of folks have already told us that they're going to be there. Please put a note in your calendar. In fact, underneath the video where you're watching this, there should be a link so you can put it in your calendar now. And as we work towards September the 10th, it's so important that you're here each week that we've arranged a bribe, have we not, Kate?
Yes, we have. Every week we will be giving away a secret word or a keyword. So it will give you an extra entry into our monthly drawing, which is our $1,000 extreme monthly drawing. You can win products from Apple, Samsung, and then of course a bunch of amazing MAGFAST products.
Yay! And last week we heard from Patty, the audio of Patty winning her iPhone. Next time it could be you. All right, let's get on with this week. I wanted to talk a little bit about USB-C. USB-C is this amazing new innovation in the industry that much of the industry hasn't really taken sufficient notice of. So let's talk about it a little bit. You know, MAGFAST is all about wireless. We're the world's first wireless magnetic charging family. And we're all about wireless. We've got the MAGFAST connection, where things just snap together magnetically. We've also got Qi, which is spelt confusingly Qi. In some places overseas, they actually call it QI rather than Qi, but it's supposed to be pronounced Qi, which is the wireless charging protocol. They all use it, but here's MAGFAST Air. You take your phone, you put it straight on, and it wirelessly starts to charge through the magic of electromagnetic magic. So that's really important, but there are times that you need to be wired. Still wired is faster, and you can do a lot more things today with a wired connection. And this is where USB-C comes in. It's a really, really great protocol. And so what I've done is I've put a little presentation together. So if we can just flip over to my screen here, I want to take you through it. Okay, so USB-C. So why is it so important to what we're doing? Well, MAGFAST, a part of our promise is that we're going to you're going to be able to charge 2 decades of your devices, right? Everything from the last decade and everything for the next decade. And this little chart shows, the standards we were using a decade ago. USB-A, that's the one that you've used for years, the letterbox, and micro USB was around then. A few years later, I think it was 2012, Apple introduced their Lightning connector, a much better connector, but only for Apple stuff. And then around the middle of the decade, USB-C started to come in, but got very, very little publicity. The same with Qi. It's been around for quite a while, but still a lot of people. Most folks watching this now have Qi wireless charging on their phones, and many have USB-C and don't even know it. But these are the 2 standards, and they are. You know how much better computers are now than they were a decade ago. These connection standards are way, way ahead. So MAGFAST supports all 4. Now, a little while back, Apple made their clear to USB-C even stronger. And at the time, we polled you guys, our supporters, our backers, to say, this is a long process anyway. We want to get it right. Would it be okay if we kind of paused our work for a week or two to consider how we can integrate USB-C even more deeply into what we're doing? And I think this chart is pretty amazing. When we did this vote, 94% or 93.8% of folks said yes, take a little extra time. So in other words, folks, you showed us that you understand how important it is that we're leaning into the future rather than just specifying something that would have looked good in the past. So we're really thrilled with that. And if you look at it in more detail, I think it's interesting that our ProKit customers voted by an even higher margin, like a percentage point or something more than non-ProKit people. And over there on the left, people who've ordered multiple ProKits voted by even higher numbers. So we took this as a very strong vote of confidence. So here's what the old connections look like. Okay, on the left there, you've got Lightning, the Lightning connector. These are our cables, by the way. But if we zoom in, you've got Lightning on the left there. And on the right, you'll probably recognize that guy. That's the micro USB that's on all of the older stuff. But for the last couple of years, C has started to appear. You may have seen it looking like this, going into some kinds of laptops. Not Apple, but a lot of other phones and mobile devices have USB-C, and you notice it's got these kind of rounded ends on it. And the rounded ends give it a very nice feature, which is that you can put it in either way around, as we'll see in a minute. So here's our tips for MAGFAST wall. The one in the middle one there, gold-plated, is the USB-C. But if you look in the bottom of the one on the right, that is also USB-C. So we're using USB-C as part of the tip connection system. And one of the advantages of that is that if you've got a new USB-C cable, you can use one of our tips to convert it to a Lightning on the left or a micro on the right. Or if you have a USB-C cable and it's 1 inch too short, then you can use the tip in the middle to extend it by 1 inch. All right. Let's carry on. So here's one of our cables, a USB-C cable in position. You see that we plug in using USB-C into MAGFAST, and this particular one is also USB-C up in the top right there. Isn't this thing beautiful? But it's because we've chosen the C standard throughout that you can just remove the cable and plug any C cable in. All right, here it is. Isn't it great? So what's so great about USB-C? Well, the first thing I mentioned just now, it's reversible. You never have to fiddle around. It'll plug in both ways round. It is universal. It's it's a standard across the industry and across all kinds of different devices. These days, whenever possible, if something has an old connection on, I simply don't buy it. I find an alternative, a competitor, with USB-C wherever possible. I find it very frustrating that some people are still shipping stuff without USB-C, because it is, this is where we want to move. We're working to move our whole household onto USB-C because it's so much better, and we still have 1 or 2 items and devices around the house that are kind of holdouts. USB-C also, in addition to power and video and sound, allows you to do data. It allows you to transfer absolutely everything. And when I'm sitting at my desk, I just have one USB-C cable into the side of my laptop. It brings fast, I have wireless, but it also brings fast Ethernet in. It also connects up to my webcam. It also connects up to an external display. What's the fourth thing that it does? Kate, what's the fourth thing my cable does? It gives me internet. Oh, power. It gives me power. That's the fourth thing. It gives me power. So it gives me internet, it gives me my camera, it gives me another display, and it gives me power. Absolutely fantastic. So this is the standard for the next decade. And an important part of the way USB-C works when it's done well is this thing called PD power delivery. Power delivery. Again, it's a standard across the industry, but you see the logo there on the screen. You probably don't recognize it. The reason is, again, the industry has done a really bad job of communicating to you how great this standard is. So we made this logo because we want to talk about power delivery, and there isn't one, so we just made one, which if you're interested in the way we think as a business, you might see as a bit of a, kind of leaning in. In other words, power delivery is there. Not everybody's doing it, but the best companies are doing power delivery, but they're not presenting power delivery as being a great strength of what they're doing. It's not unique to us, but it's absolutely part of the huge portfolio of strong benefits that you get from using MAGFAST products, many of which are unique. PD power delivery is an industry standard. It isn't. Operates at a whole bunch of different voltages. In the old days, it was just 5 volts for these mobile devices. Now it operates at 5 and 9 and 15 and 20. Can do up to 100 watts for higher powered stuff like, top laptops and stuff. None of our stuff at the moment goes as far as 100 watts because we're powering your mobile devices and maybe your small laptops and tablets. But it's a great, great industry standard. So the truth is that the future, the next decade, is going to be made up of these two standards. USB-C with power delivery, all right, and Qi for wireless. And we have USB-C throughout the entire range. We're running long for time now, so I'll do it super quick. If you the MAGFAST Wall, the basic unit, some people are getting for free or as a promotional thing, the basic one is the only thing that doesn't have C in it. But most people upgrade to the double the power version of MAGFAST Wall, which of course I don't have here because we're recording, but to MAGFAST Wall. That includes USB-C at 30 watts, which is plenty for smaller laptops and tablets, and really nice and fast for all of your mobile devices. So that's Wall. Air here. Okay, remember I've already spoken about this, but Air has both micro in the back, because you already have lots of the micro cables lying around your house. You don't need us to ship you another one. And USB-C because it's the future. So the past decade, the next decade, both here right in MAGFAST Air. And then all of the power banks, you've seen the USB-C where the cable goes in and out and the top. So they all have USB-C there. And then, of course, the greatest exponent of USB-C and Qi is which product? MAGFAST Extreme, which now has 3 Qi outlets along the top, in addition to 2 USB-C and of course the 12 volt that will jumpstart your car. So MAGFAST Extreme, they all have C, they almost all have Qi, but Extreme is really the most extreme example of this. And I mentioned the other week that Air is so much better than we'd originally promised that we've recently done a price rise. We've also done a price rise on Extreme, but because, God bless you, you're here watching this, we'll put a link underneath this. And I think we've actually got, if I remember correctly, because we have a number of different marketing things we're always playing with, we've actually got a thing at the moment where you can pick up Extreme and get a free life with it. So you get Extreme and life, and that promotion is running at the moment, so that'll kind of counterbalance the fact there's been a price rise on it. So like I say, no obligation, it's just it's there if you would like to take advantage of that now. So I think that just about covers everything I had to say. But I know, Kate, we get a bunch of questions, don't we, into customer service about USB-C. If you've got some of them there, I think we've got a minute and we could go over 1 or 2 of them now, huh?
Yes, I have a couple questions. This first question is it's a 2-parter. So the first part is, I just got a new phone that uses USB-C. Can I still use your products?
Absolutely.
I will still have devices which have Lightning and micro USB inputs as well. So what if the output ports on MAGFAST are USB-C? Then my preference is the availability of a cable with USB-C on one end and Lightning and or micro on the other end. That's from
Okay, well that was sure. So we just saw that. I'll put it up on the screen again quickly for you now. All right. You're looking at 2 of our 3 cables, and what you've got there is micro USB-C on one end and Lightning on the other, C on one end and micro on the other. And these are the little cables that you can carry around in the power bank the whole time, so they're always available. All right, we want a kind of cable-free world, so we're not at the moment offering longer cables. There's plenty of other people who do that. Worthy competitors of ours also include cables. You can go online and find those. If there's a demand for it, we might offer them one day because there's a lot of bad cables out there. Maybe you trust us to make a good one for you. Maybe let us know. But these are the cables that come with. And then the third cable that isn't on the screen at the moment. Yeah, so here's the C2C cable that comes as standard with all of our power banks. What's next, Kitty?
So next is, this is from Rich. He says, what is max
Rich.
current output of USB-C port on Life, Extreme, and Road?
So generally we're doing 18 watts, which is the fast standard supported by all of the manufacturers of mobile devices. There will be 30 on the bottom of double the power wall, as I just explained. But here's a really, really important point, because I know what's going to happen. There'll be some people who will listen to that and go, well, I've got a thing that does this and it says it does that. The quality of the electronics is, I'm going to say, way more important, but it's incredibly important in the speed of your charge. Those of you who had the first product that Amy and I invented a few years ago, to this day we still get emails saying, "Oh my God, I can't! It's the fastest charger I've got." I think I've said this before in these updates. The specification for that charger wasn't particularly high, but the electronics were amazing, and so it's able to get that connection and get to work and just deliver a faster charge. And MAGFAST, we're always trying to get that the overall package is by far the most delightful for you as an owner. And that means taking everything into account. It doesn't mean like slapping on, some. I'll give you an example. With this isn't a USB-C example, but there are a lot of jump starting chargers that say 1200 amps and 1300 amps and 900 amps. We're 500 amps. Which is more than enough to do the job, made out of a battery that is going to last. And a lot of these ones with the supposedly better amperage, they'll do that a small handful of times, then the battery will overheat, it will start to expand, you'll get cracking in the enclosure. And it was one of the choices we had to make. It was a difficult meeting. It's kind of like, oh my God, we can't go out with 500 when other people are saying they've got 900 or 1100. I was like, if it's safety and the product delivers on quality, then no, we're gonna deliver what's right for the customer, not the thing that superficially seems better. So a bit of a long answer there, but I think you get the point. One more, Kate?
Yes. All right. Last one. This is from David. David asks,
hello, David.
Does the USB-A or USB-C support fast charging?
Yes, they both do. They all do. Yes. Absolutely. Well, what do you want to know? I think I already spoke a long answer on the other ones. It's to do with the quality of the electronics. We're putting great electronics in, and PD power delivery on USB-C, of course, delivers kind of crazy quality of charging. A USB-A doesn't have PD available to it, but we are supporting fast charge on that. And that, I think, that brings us to that just about rounds it up. I've got in my notes here, I've got the notes up on the screen now. It says, Wall SP2X now has USB-C with 30 watts, but I already said that. So that was an announcement that apparently I was supposed to make at the end of this week, but I made it a little bit earlier on. It's been really, really tough to get in there. There's not very much room inside of Wall, even though it looks large, because there's all the plugs and sockets and the storage and for the tips in the back and everything. So that I think just about wraps it up. Make sure you've got September the 10th. In your calendar. Okay, September the 10th in your calendar. There's a link underneath, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. in Mountain and Central, of course. Also, just for being here, you can click on the link underneath and get 3 extra chances to win in the $1,000 value draw of goodies. That's, as Katie said, Samsungs and iPhones and all kinds of good things, and amazing MAGFAST stuff, including MAGFAST Extreme that can jumpstart your car. What is the secret word this week, Kate? Folks are going to need the secret word in order to get those extra entries, and it is
2 decades.
The secret word is, how do you spell it?
Okay, 2. Well,
the number 2.
2 decades, 1 word, no space.
Okay, so it's 2 decades, all uppercase. Why is it 2 decades? because MAGFAST is serving 2 decades of your charging. Everything from the last decade, everything from the next decade. That just about wraps that, I think, doesn't it, Katie? Excellent. Thank you so much for being a part of what we're doing here. We can't wait to show you the future of charging. We're going to share the future of MAGFAST on September the 10th. And in the meantime, thank you so much for being here. Remember, you're helping us to change charging for good.